book lovers, Lori here. I'm back with a new hat to do another Bookmas video. According to my my notes, this is book day 11 of Bookmas. I hope that's accurate. So every year I do like a recap goals video where I recap, what I want to do every year, and then I kind of assess them. Sometimes I'm really successful with my goals, sometimes I'm not. We're going to talk through them, and I'm going to make a new goals for you list, which you will see tomorrow. And I will kind of talk through my goals for 2021, which will be different than 2020 because 2020 was just a weird year. Let's just talk about it. It was a bizarre year. If you would have told me at the start of 2020 that we would have been going through a pandemic, I would have laughed because it's just so out of the mind of people. It was a weird year. There were some highlights and some lowlights, like as always. But it did change my reading life a lot because I normally commute to work, and I would say from like March to September, I wasn't commuting, and then from September to November, I was, and now I'm not commuting again. So it's definitely changed my life a lot this year, and it's really affected some of my goals. So let's get into it. The first series of goals I always kind of do is number goals. And for those that don't know, I'm on a couple of different platforms. I'm on YouTube, obviously, because you're watching me here. I'm on Instagram, and I have a blog, and I have a Twitter, but it's just more for me to like keep up with the news. So those are the 5 platforms that I use for bookish related content. So they'll all be linked below in the comments if you want to follow me on my various channels. But this is the one that's mostly like in-depth updates, and then Instagram is like daily. But I always do like numbers, and honestly, numbers don't mean a whole lot to me. I know like if people are like, oh, I need this. I just make number goals because I think it's interesting, and if I make them, I make them, and if I don't, I don't. But I just want to kind of go through what my goals were and just to see if I did make them. Let's do the, okay. So the professional goals that I had was to get 150 followers on my blog, and I did actually do that one. So I'm now at 258 on my blog, which really blows my mind. Like I started YouTube and being a book blogger like 5 years ago, just as sort of just something to just kind of get my feelings out there, and I can't believe I have like that many people following me. I just think that's cool. And I'm just shocked. And then my YouTube channel is, I hope to have 300 subscribers. And right now at the filming of this video, I have 344, which is amazing. And I'm so happy that I have found people that actually like my content. Again, I do it mostly for myself. I like to recap my reading year and kind of look back on my thoughts, but I'm glad that you guys are finding this content fun, and I hope you guys keep finding it fun. And then for my Instagram, my goal was 500, and this one continues to blow me away. I have 743 followers on Instagram, which is just astounding to me. Like, I do it because it's fun, and it's like a little bit of a creative outlet. Especially like this year, like it's just fun to just make photos, and I kind of have a filming setup in my room. And for those that don't know, I have Funkos everywhere. You guys could see my bookshelf over there. Well, not really my bookshelf. Yeah, so there's all my Funkos over there. I have like about 200 Funkos, so I just kind of use them to kind of like wrap up my reading, and it's fun, it's enjoyable. And again, I was ridiculously excited to get 700. I don't know how that happened, but again, super happy about that. And then I also put in here, I have 260 followers on Twitter, which again is just for me to keep up with the news, but I do post bookish stuff on there and follow authors and enter giveaways. So those are like my professional goals. I'm going to definitely up the numbers for 2021. But again, for anyone that's contemplating getting into the book blogging community, I would not worry about numbers. I don't even worry about views, I'll be very honest with you. I just kind of do it for myself. But it is fun to kind of keep track of numbers and just see, like, if you don't make your goal, you don't make your goal. But you can always keep trying to get better. And then here are just some of my, like, challenge goals that I did. And these are what I'm going to, like, work on for 2021. But one goal was that I will be participating in the Beat the Backlist Challenge, which is just that you read backlist titles, and that's something that I've been really trying to get better at because I have I books that came out longer ago, I don't read as much. So I've been trying to make a concerted effort to kind of dive back into these and read them. So my goal this year was to read 50 of those, and at the time of this filming, I still have about half of December left. I was able to read like 81 books of like backlist books, which actually is pretty good. So I was really happy with that and that I was able to like do that. But the goal that I'm like still I don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx myself, but um my goal every year is to read 100 books on Goodreads. And I know I'm always going to surpass it, at least in recent years. So I always set my goal as 100, and then every single time I beat my 100, I like add 20 books to it. So when the pandemic started, I had told myself, I was like, okay, pandemic started. Why don't you like tackle some larger books? So that's what I was starting to do at the start of the pandemic. I like finished a couple of longer series. I did some audiobook listening. And then I got to like September and I was like, I was at like, I think I was at like 180, like 160 at that point. And I was like, this is what I did last year. This was like September. And I was like, I think I can read 200 books this year. And I'm really close. I'm at like 197. This has been my lifelong dream of mine to read 200 books a year. So I'll definitely check back in with you guys, but I'm like 3 books away at this point from reading it. I definitely think I'll do that. But it just blew my mind. And I think that really was just a positive this year because I had nowhere to go and I just kind of read and I caught up on things and it was great. So 200 book goal is my goal and I really think I'll be able to do it. And I will probably still have my 100 goal next year and just keep on trying to surpass myself. But yeah, so that was that. The one thing I didn't do as well with is I totally forgot about the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I need to find a better system with that challenge because I just tend to not look at it and then it like seems so overwhelming. So I need to try a better system with that. I didn't even do it. I'll be honest. That was the one challenge I totally forgot about. The TBR and Beyond Reading Challenge, again, was one that I just didn't really keep up to date in. But I have continually been doing, like, sorry, I have a small cold. Sorry, guys. My allergies just don't like me right now. I have been doing the group events, but, like, I'm not that closely connected to that group to, like, do all the other challenges. But the monthly challenges is something that I really am enjoying and I'm really, really liking. Sorry, my phone kept ringing and I was afraid you guys would hear it, but I just looked awkward. So, okay. And then the next one, kind of going off of that, was the Little Inkling challenges, the ones in my planner. And I was able to do all of them except for one A to Z challenge, which was read a book that starts with J. I have one on my TBR. I don't know if I'm going to get around to reading it, but I would like to. So I might just like pick a really short audiobook that has a J. So that's like the one Little Inkling challenge I didn't get around to completing quite yet. And it's such like a weird letter. So, but the Little Inkling challenge design planner challenges is something that I was super successful with, just not the J for the A to Z challenge, which I think I could definitely finish before the end of December. That's my hope anyway. My next goal was to read 12 audiobooks in the year, and I am pleased to report that I have read about 30 audiobooks this year, which is actually super exciting. Like, I find that to be a really good accomplishment. It really has helped with me commuting. And I was fearful that when I stopped commuting, I would have less audiobook listening time, but I've just found ways to find other ways to listen to things and putting it on as background noise. So yeah, 30 audiobooks, really proud of myself. And again, it just was really fun to find all these new audiobooks. I also started using Libro FM, which is a audiobook service that like supports indie bookshops, which I think is awesome. So I'm going to definitely become a little bit more prolific with that and use them a little bit more in 2021 because I really like doing that. I also ordered a little bit more from indie bookshops this year, especially when the pandemic started because those bookshops were really, really suffering. So but yeah, 30 audiobooks, really, really good. I'm probably going to do my top audiobooks of the year at some point in this Bookmas month. So keep an eye out for that video. Don't know when I'm going to film it, but I will definitely film it. And then the next goal that I wanted to chat through is find homes for 100 books that I have read. At the time of this filming, I think I like gave away or donated about 80 books just from the books that I read. And then I also did 2 big unhauls, which were at least 50 bucks. So I definitely got rid of 100 bucks. But I also went to ALA this year for the first time right before the pandemic started. So I have quite a few books from that. And also last year from New York City Comic Con that I still have books from. And also, like, all the conventions had books that we were sent. So I did find homes for 100 new bucks, but I definitely bought books this year. So, yeah, but I did find homes for 100 new books, and 80 of them were from books that I read and some from Unhaul. So that was a goal that I was successful with, and I definitely like doing that. I normally give the books back to my kids, like when I'm done reading them. I have giveaways and stuff, but first we weren't in school, and now they don't want us giving books to kids right now. So I've been donating them to like my used bookshop and stuff like that, and they've been taking them, which has been great. But most of the time I do donate them to my students when I am able. But again, another goal that I was able to complete. Super happy about that. And then the next goal that we're going to chat through is read 50% of my New York City Comic Con and BEA books by BEA 2020. So BEA 2020 got canceled. New York City Comic Con 2020 got canceled. But I did read quite a few of my books from those conventions, and honestly, that's my goal. BEA, they've decided that they're going to take it in a different direction. We don't know what that means, but I'm hopeful that it will return as a physical event eventually. But if it doesn't, I'm still probably going to go with my friends to go to ALA, which is one convention that we've talked about going to a lot, but it's always was like really close to BEA, and it never worked out convention-wise, like year-wise stuff, but I hope that we can actually go back. But I'm definitely going to make it my goal to read more of my ALA and BEA books by the next time there is a convention, which is either going to be like late summer or possibly for New York City Comic Con. But I am going to ALA virtual in January. We'll see what that convention looks like. But yeah, so I sort of did this goal. I also unhauled a lot of the books from that convention as well. So I'm going to say sort of did this goal, and it's probably going to be a goal that I'm going to have next year as well. So, but I am going to try to keep track of that, I think, a little bit better, because I'm just kind of like telling you, I'm going to probably put like a number on it. I'm like, I want to read this many of my Comic-Con books and this many of my BEA books and this many of my ALA books and my e-arcs. And we'll talk about that in 2021 because cons are going to look a little bit different, at least for the next year. And we'll talk about that in my 2021 goals. The next goal that I made was to try to read 3 different genres every single month. And this I easily did because I really was trying very hard to read different genres every single month. And I tried a little bit to like break my like read only seasonally. And I still do read very seasonally, but I really did try to like, read like at least one fantasy or at least one contemporary every single month. And I think I'm just going to try to just keep that going in 2021 because I found it super successful, but also I also did read a lot more nonfiction this year, which is something that I'm really happy with. But yeah, I definitely was able to read at least 3 genres every single month, if not more. And I'm definitely going to keep that going in 2021 because I think it challenged me. And it also kind of forced me to read outside my comfort zone and kind of shatter those like reading mood that I'm in. Like I would only read them in certain months, like especially like I would have like stacks of contemporary that I would just save like all year, and now I'm just like I will read those whenever. So very, very happy with that goal and how that one turned out. And then the next goal that I'm going to chat about is, did I use my planners and my book list? So my book lists were kind of a failure. I'll say that. I have like book lists. I say like I'm going to read all these books. It was a total failure. And I think I'm going to try something different in 2021. And I still have to kind of work on it and kind of rethink that one a little bit because it just was not successful. I think because the lists are so overwhelming to me. And like I'll show you in my 2021 planner why I think it was so overwhelming, and I'll show you guys like an example. Like I would just have like these just lists, and I think just for me this list was like super overwhelming and I just forgot about it. So I'm gonna try something different in 2021, and I'm still thinking about like how I want to do that and stuff like that, but I think that that's like a goal that I'm just like okay, I really need to work on that a little bit better. But it's a goal that I have, but I just need to work on it. But I did use my planner a lot, which is something that like I really like doing. Like I liked doing it a lot. So happy about using my planner, both my Owl Crate planner and my Little Inkling design planner. So that was successful, but my book list, yeah, not so much. I just wanted to expand on that a little bit. So I get 2 planners every single year. I get my Owl Crate planner, and my Owl Crate planner is my filming planner. So I do all my Instagram stuff, and I kind of use it to my to-do lists, and that's really what I've been using my Owl Crate planner for. And the one thing I don't use in either planner really is I don't use like the book reviews because I do them on Goodreads and I just don't use it. But my Little Inkling design planner is like my daily planner. And what I do mostly with my Little Inkling design planner is I'm going to try to get better at this, but I track my steps, I track my workouts, and I track stuff that I've been doing. And I just want to get a little bit better at that. And I'm going to try to make it my goal for 2021 to be a little bit better. And I'm going to actually make it a real goal and not just like a goal that I like do, because I'll get really good at it for like a couple of weeks and then I'll forget about it. And then also tracking my food and stuff like that, I tend to get a little bit bad at. So I'm trying to be a little bit better with that stuff. So that's kind of going to fall into 2021 as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of my goals because it's not like bookish themes, but it's just to be more organized. That's one goal I do have, but like just to try to keep everything more tracked. So that was kind of expanding that a little bit. But 2 planners have worked super successfully, especially with making lists and having like to-do list has been great. So I really like that. And I took a couple of like some Skillshare courses this year that really inspired me to be a little bit more organized. But yeah, so that was a success for the planner part, not really a success for the book list. So 50-50. So these next 3 goals are kind of all interconnected, and they're kind of like finishing series or extra canon stuff. I really had a hard time with the J.K. Rowling stuff this year. I was planning on reading all her companion books, and just finishing that. But with all the drama with J.K. Rowling and everything going on, I just felt really uninspired to do that. I did finish re-listening to book 5 with Mugglecast, but I'm really having a hard time really supporting her and rereading her work. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to do it this year. I am, but the distaste I have with her series and supporting her in the future is really, really hard for me, especially with all the comments she's been making recently. So that's been kind of a little bit of a bitter pill for me to swallow. And I know some booktubers have decided not to mention her on your channel anymore, not talk about her, which is totally their prerogative. I am still a fan of the book series Harry Potter and those characters. I just don't want to support the author, so I'm just trying to find a way to do that. But I don't know how I feel about doing a Harry Potter canon read next year. I'm feeling a little bit mixed feelings about that, so I don't know. I'll kind of think about if I want to do it next year or not. But the other 2 that I didn't wind up doing this year that were really big goals and I just never got around to it, was finish and start the Shattered Realms series by Cinda Williams Chimer, and start and finish the Circle Open series by Tamora Pierce, which I started and I just never got around to reading it. I am going to make those some goals, but again, it just didn't happen this year. But this wasn't a goal that I actually made, I don't think, but I did actually catch up on Cassie Clare. I wound up finishing the Dark Artifices series, and I caught up on the Chain of Gold series. So I did make some progress on that, but it just wasn't the series I had planned. So not really, and I'm still feeling a little bit unsure about my Harry Potter reread in the future, so I don't know. Share your comments below. Does it bother you when I mention J.K. Rowling? Does it not? I don't really know. I limit it, I do, but again, Harry Potter those characters always mean a lot to me, so it's kind of hard. But that's my thoughts on those rereads, and they will get done eventually. They just didn't get done in 2020. The next goal was to try to read on my Kindle more, and the other secret goal was to try to get a better goal reading on NetGalley. Now, before this, I went to a lot of conventions, in-person conventions, and I got a lot of in-person books, so I always prioritized my in-person books because I said more space, more space. If you get rid of these books, you can get more space for the next cons that you go to. But then everything went online. So I really need to get better at reading on my Kindle, especially because I have so many books on my Kindle that are coming out in 2021 that I'm really excited about. Like, I'm reading a book on my Kindle now and I'm trying to get a little bit better. So at the time of this filming, I did read 23 books this year on my Kindle, which is good. Not amazing because I read almost 200 books. Some of them were like ebooks and library books and stuff like that. So not really. And I'm hoping that in 2021 I will get better at this because I'll kind of be forced to, because most of my physical new books, like my new ERCs, will come from NetGalley. So yeah, not really. Hoping to do better in this in 2021, but I did try. It just, again, weird year. Weird year. This goal is why I like numbers, because I can definitely tell you that I did this. So that's why I'm going to have some more number goals next year going forward. But my goal was to read 10 books that are not young adult, middle grade, and 5 graphic novels. So I just kind of took my stats. At the time of this recording, I read 19 graphic novels this year, which blew my record. I read 5 adult fictions, 31 middle grade, and 8 romances, which means I definitely did read outside of my comfort zone a little bit more, and that does not include nonfiction, which I also read quite a few of. So definitely was able to do this, and I really like keeping track of it. I also have a lot of lists that I kind of will talk through in my stats where I just kind of write it down, so I just know numbers. I like to keep track of numbers. So, but I did do that, and I'm actually proud that I was able to expand my reading life, and I think that was mostly due to the pandemic. Just because I started reading things that I had wanted to, and it was proved mostly successful. So, yes, for this goal, definitely, I did succeed in diversifying my reading life and read outside of my chosen genres a lot more than I normally would, which is good. The next goal is one that I did fail at, but I understand why I failed. I really have always wanted to do a 24-hour reading blog, and you know what? I've just decided 24-hour reading blogs, reading for 24 straight hours, is just not appealing to me. Staying up that late, I just don't do well staying up that late. So no, I did not do a true 24-hour reading thon, and that's okay. I did do a lot of readathons. Like, I read weekends or weeks, and it was fun. I did a couple of reading challenges this year that were really enjoyable. I participated in a couple of reading challenges, and they were just fun. So I definitely did that more. I did my own readathons by myself, which I've vlogged on this channel. You can probably go back and watch them all if you really, really want to do. But it just was motivating, and I just have no desire to do a 24-hour true, where I stay up for 24 hours, just because I don't think I would be awake enough to enjoy what I was reading, and I want to enjoy what I'm reading. So, no, but I did do a lot more readathons this year, which was a success. So, sort of, yes, I'm going to say this. I did do this, just not a true 24-hour reading thon, but that's okay. I think I'm just don't want to do that. And then the next one was complete my challenges that I made in my little Inkling design planner. Not really. I'm going to rethink those for 2021 and kind of come back with a plan, because it's too overwhelming and I need to make it a little bit simpler for me to achieve and give myself some rewards. Rewards are going to be key next year, I think, because that really does motivate me. And then the next, I think this is the last goal, is be less stressed to complete books by the end of the week and the month. I still am struggling with this. I definitely got better, but not great. Towards the really end of this year and the start of the pandemic, I was really good because I just didn't care about it. But I need to get better at it a little bit and to stop worrying. I also did start DNFing a lot, not a lot, but I would say I DNF'd 4 to 5 books this year that I just kind of stopped reading because I wasn't interested or they weren't enjoying me. It is hard for me to DNF books, I'll say that. I don't do it regularly. But I have done it a few times this year, and I just kind of just didn't want to read the book. So I guess that's something I've done more, but I still feel bad when I DNF a book. I just do. And I know people say, don't feel bad, you just weren't enjoying it. I still do feel bad, so I don't think it's going to become super relevant in my reading life, but I did actually DNF quite a bit. For me, it was quite a bit. When I DNF'd 5 books, I was that's a lot for me, so yeah. But yeah, that's just my goals that I made at the start of 2020. Again, this year was weird. And if when this is all over, if you guys want me to do what I learned about myself during quarantine, please, I'll happily do that. I'm probably gonna do it anyway. Um, but the one thing I did change this year was I also like started expanding what I filmed in this channel. Like I did what I've been loving, and I talked a little bit more about my life on this channel, which I think people have enjoyed. So I'm definitely gonna do like an entertainment wrap up every single month. I really like doing that, and it's kind of forced myself to kind of keep track of like what I've been watching and what I've been playing and what I've been doing, which is something that I hadn't done before, and I really like doing that. So you'll definitely kind of see that going forward. But let me know what are some of the bookish goals you made in the comments below. If you succeeded, if you didn't succeed, I love hearing about it. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for another Bookmas video. Bye guys.